Hi guys! Today I'll show you how to make crunchy, spicy breaded chicken. This recipe gives you a medium spiced chicken. If you want it very spicy, feel free to double the heat in the recipe. It's definitely one of the crunchiest pieces of chicken you'll ever eat. Adults and kids will love this chicken. We'll need 3/4 of a cup of all-purpose flour. We might not use all the flour, but it's better to have it ready rather than trying to mix up more when your hands are covered in egg and flour. These are panko, a Japanese-style breadcrumb. They're larger than regular breadcrumbs and give the chicken its crunchy coating. You can substitute regular, smaller breadcrumbs, which will give you a crispy coating. It'll still taste good, but it won't be crunchy. I did a crispy breaded chicken recipe a while ago using regular breadcrumbs. If you want to see the difference, watch that video. I'll put a link in the description below. We'll also need 2 large eggs, garlic powder, onion powder, paprika, cayenne, and hot sauce. Use your favorite kind. I have 5 boneless, skinless chicken thighs. You can substitute breasts if you'd like. I've washed them and put them on paper towels. Pat them dry with the paper towels. First, we'll pound our chicken into thin pieces. To keep my board clean, I put plastic wrap down first. Put 1 piece of chicken in the middle, and put another piece of plastic wrap on top. You can use a meat mallet to pound the chicken, or use a rolling pin. In my case, a small cast iron pan. It's a little barbaric, but it does the job. Just pound a few times and the chicken will be even and thin. Pull the plastic back. And there's our nicely pounded chicken. Now we can flatten the rest of the pieces. It goes pretty quickly. And cleanup is easy. There's no chicken juice all over the place. Season the flour, 1/2 teaspoon of onion powder, 1/2 teaspoon of garlic powder, 1/2 teaspoon of chili powder. This is where you would add 1 teaspoon if you want it very spicy, 1/2 teaspoon of paprika, and 3/4 teaspoon of salt. Mix that really well. To the eggs, add 1/2 teaspoon salt. Usually we add water to the eggs, but since we want heat, we'll add 2 tablespoons of hot sauce. Whisk it. Now we'll season the chicken. Here I have 1 teaspoon cayenne, 1/2 teaspoon of garlic powder, 1/2 teaspoon of onion powder, and 1/2 teaspoon salt. Mix that up. Spread out the chicken pieces. Put the spices on each piece and rub it in. Turn the pieces over and rub the spices into the other side. Now all of the pieces are coated in the spices. Heat up a pan, pour in vegetable oil. Let the oil heat while we work on coating the chicken. If you've seen my other video, you know the procedure. Flour, eggs, breadcrumbs. Make sure to beat up your eggs again. Right hand for breadcrumbs, and left hand for flour and egg. It's less messy that way. Take a piece of chicken and put it in the flour. It should be completely covered in flour. Turn it over and coat the other side. Shake off the excess and dip it in the egg. Let the excess drip off. At this point, you can put the chicken straight into the breadcrumbs or double dip, meaning put it back in the flour, then egg again. I'll double dip one, single dip the other, and show you the difference. Back into the flour and egg. Let the excess drip off and put the chicken into the breadcrumbs. Use your right hand and coat the chicken. Do the other side. I like to really press the crumbs onto the chicken so it stays on and completely coats it. Shake off the excess and put it on a plate. Let's do another piece. This one will be dipped in flour once, egg once, and go straight into the breadcrumbs. Now we can fry both and see the difference. Double dip goes in the back, single dip goes in the front. After you pound the chicken pieces, they become large, and you can see 2 pieces just barely fit in my pan. Use a large pan for frying so there's enough room. When they're golden brown on one side, turn them over and cook the other side. These thighs take about 5 minutes on each side. If you're using breasts, they'll take about 3 minutes on each side. It really depends on how thin your pieces are. Just a tip, if your pieces are thicker and brown on the outside but are not cooked on the inside, put the pieces on a baking sheet in a heated 350-degree Fahrenheit oven. Bake them for 7 to 10 minutes and they'll be perfect. The chicken is browned on both sides. Take out the pieces with tongs. Drain off the excess oil. My pieces don't need to be baked because they are thin. We've got the single dipped piece on the left and double dipped on the right. I'll cut into the single dipped first. You can hear it. Taste this. It's really good. You can taste the spice. Again, it's medium. It's not very spicy. Now the double dipped one. The meat looks really juicy, and it's crunchier than the single dipped. You can see the difference here. The single dipped piece is thinner than the double dipped one. The thinner single dipped piece looks absolutely perfect. The crust is sticking to the meat, and when you cut into it, it'll hold together nicely. There is a gap between the thicker double dip piece and the crust. It's crunchy, but when you cut into it, the crust might not stay perfectly on the meat. So my suggestion is to pound the meat very thin and single dip it. You can pound it thin and double dip, but I think there would be too much crust and you really don't need it with this thin piece of meat. It would be overkill. Now I've given you all the tips you need to make perfect, crunchy, spicy breaded chicken. Try it and I would love to hear your feedback in the comments below. Subscribe for more yummy recipes and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.